Okay, everybody, so we are live here for another IG Live series of Share Your Skills from Home to Create a Better World. Today, we're going to have an amazing conversation with Dr. Alison Thompson, okay? And she is a full-time humanitarian volunteer, okay, running refugee camps, field hospitals, and resilient command centers in the larger disasters around the world. She's probably the most amazing volunteer for this, past 50 years in the world. She's like been doing this for 22 years, but I don't think there's anybody in the world that is, such an amazing first responder volunteer as she is. She has a group of 30,000 volunteers that is involved with her on the different activities. Just for COVID here in Miami, she had 15,000 people behind her. She ended up losing 15 of those, from COVID. So if you think about disasters around the world, she's there. She's helping us, she's supporting it. So we're just waiting a little bit for her, to join. And hopefully I think she's having issues of signing up. So let me just find out here one. Okay, there she is. She has joined us. Okay, so now let's give her access. Okay, we're gonna go with her now. So let's see how that works. Super excited.
We couldn't get anything for
we
it
got it done.
to sit on, so apologize about that. It's going to be a bit wobbly.
It's okay. It's okay. I was just explaining to everybody that you're probably
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Just like you're in a deep tunnel.
No, I've been. Can you hear me well now? No.
Oh, here it is. It's good.
Okay,
now.
very nice. No, yeah. So I was saying it to everybody that you're probably the most amazing volunteer, in the world, right? That you talk about any disaster that is happening, you are there with all your team, doing some amazing good for the world, and you have like 30,000 people following you, and you just for COVID, you got 15,000 people helping. It's just amazing the work that you do. So I wanted to hear. Say it again.
I said I'm tired. We need some more volunteers.
I know. That's hopefully what this talk, this interview is going to be about. But the topic of today, that we decided to talk is, everyone is needed, no skills required. But let's take a step back. Please share with us why volunteer matters to you.
Well, I started volunteering September 11th, 2001. I lost a lot of friends that day. And nothing else made sense except, helping others, and just really, so I just dedicated my life to the stolen lives of that day. And it's made me one of the happiest people I know. It's so deep inside you, and we have such a great adventure, and we just get to help people full time, and that's all we get to do. And we just fills you up with so much love. And I really think it's the secret to life. I really feel like I've found one of the main answers to life: service.
Wow. That's amazing. And how, as these 22 years have gone by, how has it changed you?
I think more that it's not about me. It's as you give more service, you kind of let go of the ego. And you learn to let go of it. Well, sometimes you're forced to if there's an angry crowd around you with wanting aid and you don't have any. But it's just really made me, I think, as you have to keep evolving, we're not just, you just get out of college at 23 and then we're walking around dead, we're not buried yet. There's so much to keep learning and evolving. And I think we have to strive for that and strive for love. And, there's so many different levels, but I think a part of the soul, one of the highest levels in the soul is about completely giving yourself to service. Now, I understand a lot of people out there can't do that full time in that, but even an hour a week or something, because it adds up,
Absolutely. That's how it changed my life, right? I think some of the people that have heard before, right? I was into a major crisis in my life, and I decided to quit everything. I went to volunteer, and I said that besides bringing my consciousness back, right, I was able to learn the power of giving back, which is not only doing good for others, but, for yourself. And this sense of serving, it's really where happiness can be found, right? Which is very, very special.
And it's not a cliche. It doesn't mean you have to be, a little goody two-shoes and very religious or something. No, it's just for everyone. We sit on the side and with guitars, and people have a beer and hang out. Or it's for everyone, all ages. And it's endless. Yeah.
So share a little bit of the projects or the work that you have done in these 22 years.
Oh dear. We're at pretty much every major disaster around the world. The really big ones, and for example, 300,000 dead in tsunami, 2004 tsunami in Sri Lanka, or Haiti, 300,000 dead. Like the real big disasters. And you know what? We were doing like one big major disaster a year, but over the last 5 years, the climates and the weather or whatever it is accelerated. The disasters are we were doing like 5 back to back to back, and it's just getting crazy. So we were just doing natural disasters, but quite a few years ago, we had the Syrian crisis, and they were all jumping in boats and drowning in the Aegean Sea in Greece. So we switched to like man-made disasters and natural disasters. So it's been a mixture of everything. And then we're also at the Venezuela border. You know, we have medical and non-medical volunteers. So medical will do medical and field hospitals and things, but all the non-medical people, they go out and give solar lights, or they do water filtration, or they do all this other fun stuff. They might be building or whatever. So there's a mixture of everyone, and we need everyone, you know. I always say volunteers get a bit scared, and they're like, well, how can you do it? How is it? They're just about scared about that first step. And I say, look, just get your plane ticket with a return ticket. You get there, you don't like it, 2 days later, jump on the plane, you come home, and you go play golf or do whatever you do. But they never really, they come, and then they realize everyone else has more problems than them. And then they just bloom, and they go, I don't have any skills. But then you see them out there doing art with kids, or building, or just doing something. And everybody just chips in, and that's how it works. And it's really about grassroots too. Yeah.
And how do you mobilize so many people to help out? Like, what is your way to recruiting them, and like, how do you do it?
Well, we haven't, you know, we started off with nothing, but over all the years, we've built up a lot of volunteers. And I know trusted ones I could take on certain types of missions and everything. Of course, we don't take 30,000 volunteers. You know, when a disaster first happens, you know, you need your initial 8 to 10 crew or whatever. And then the people come behind and behind, because we don't just do the first emergency, we say long term, 5, 10 years. So there's all sorts of different places scattered out. But it's just the message is everyone's needed.
And is there like a unique characteristic that you look for in a volunteer?
Oh, yes. So the volunteer heart just goes, and it keeps going. It doesn't stop. So the most important thing I look for is a sense of humor, because you're in disaster. Everything goes. You've really got to have a good sense of humor. And I learned that from watching MASH TV show. It was this TV show ages ago, and they're in Vietnam, I think, or in the war, and you know, busy field hospital. And it was so funny because you got to keep a sense of humor. So sense of humor and common sense, you know, like I don't care that if you went to Harvard or whatever, you know, but common sense, you know, that's a big bit over the top, but I just
We're losing your connection a bit.
You know, just you don't have common sense anymore, especially right now in coronavirus. I was thinking without masks, I'm like, as a medical person, I'm like, oh dear. You know? So
we're losing you a little bit. I think the internet is not working so well there.
Oh, you didn't hear me?
No, you're fading in and out.
Oh, I'm in a good spot, but anyway. So should I say it again? So I repeat it?
Yes, if you.
I'm trying to hold it still up on a book. Can you hear me now?
A little bit. I don't know. Can the people that are in the call, can you guys hear her? Just maybe answer in the chat yes or no. But yes, go ahead. If not, let's try it.
No, but I don't want to just talk and no one can hear me.
No, now I can hear. I just don't see you so well, but I can hear you.
Oh, you don't see?
No, I see you, but it's very blurry.
Oh. I've got lots of lights on. I can't get it any lighter. So why would it be blurry?
No, I think it is. I think your
connection.
Yes, it's the internet connection for sure.
Is that better?
I can hear. Yes, now it's getting better. Getting better. Yes, I see you perfectly.
Oh, you see me now?
Yes.
Okay. So what was that last question?
The last question is, what are the characteristics? No, yeah, what's the characteristic that you're looking in a volunteer?
Oh, you didn't hear all my juicy answer? Okay.
I heard about the part that you need to be funny, and then you start talking a little bit about...
Oh, yeah, the good sense of humor. And then the next thing is common sense. Now, okay. I don't care if you went to Harvard or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if you never went to school or anything. Like, but people are streetwise or common sense. Like, you see a fire getting a bit out of hand there down the beach while we're all hanging out at night. Yeah, do something about it. Put some sand on it. You know, just common sense. It takes initiative. That's what we look for. So that's really the two criteria. And just to be genuine and real and just bring yourself, you know. your real self. Or if you don't know your real self, you end up finding it out in the field, and you're like, wow, I can do this. I'm in a tent. Oh, I survived. You know, I didn't need my hairdryer.
For sure.
Yeah, so.
And any crazy experience that you can share that it was like very very special that happens with volunteers and you?
Do you mean experience that like something funny or?
Yeah, or funny, or that they were like faced into the situation that they never thought that they could handle it, and boom, they handle it. Things like that.
Oh. I think sometimes some volunteers who've never collected bodies before, they weren't, oh yeah, all right, come body collecting, and they were all like, oh, let's go. And then when they actually get to a body, it's not even the look of it, but the smell, people fainting and all sorts of stuff going on. I got a funny story. Just sitting beside a river in Sri Lanka. I think I've been out in the field a bit too long, after this 2004 tsunami, there's 300,000 people dead. And I've been collecting legs and arms and heads, and I put them into different bags, and there weren't any body bags, so we had handbags. And a little boy was running down the street and running down trying to catch up with me, and I'm just sitting beside the river, and then he caught up and he puts this puts a bone in one of the bags, and then he runs off. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, hang on a minute, why would he put the femur bone in with the heads? And then I start laughing in my head. I'm like, I should be in New York with my Jimmy Choos at a really nice restaurant right now, and I'm sitting beside this river with bags of bodies. But I was kind of enjoying it, because I was trying to get out into the jungle and having making the best of it, But it's a little funny situation you just have to laugh at, because I get back to the village, and the next minute I'm giving out ice cream to like 100 kids. And 5 minutes before I've been bagging the bodies. So you just got to like switch and live in the present. You can live too far in the past or the forward. We're only here we don't know if we're going to go tomorrow, So you've got to really be present. And just like right now, I'm having a nice interview with you. Another day I'll be maybe with a raped child. Another day I might be doing something else that's pretty yucky. But you just stay in the moment, And if you keep staying in the present of where you are in that minute, that really works. And I've learned to really build on that.
Wow, that's amazing. I have here a nonprofit from Brazil, actually called Together for Peace. She's just starting now to really build up her work. She's asking, how old are normally the volunteers that you work for? Is there an age range that really you can trust more, or really it's open, it's more just a passion?
Oh, it's everybody. Everybody gets into it. We have a lot of college kids. Like all the Syrian refugee rescues were all like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Then we had a lot of women. The most people that volunteer are women between the age of 34 and I think it's 57. So we get a lot of older women too. I mean, not older. I say older. I'm the same age. It's really all different ages. We have 80, 90-year-olds up in the Panhandle, and they had a blast. And I like to have young ones as well. Like I sometimes I'll take about 8, maybe 14-year-olds. We just had to cancel because of COVID, but 8, 14, 15-year-olds, and sit them around the campfire at night and really tell them a bit about life, because, there's the rules of the world we all obey, like sheep, but then there's the real rules we learn about. Of course we don't murder or do anything bad, but we just really know how to get around the red tape and get help straight to the people instead of having to wait for all the rules, So we learn a lot of things. So I like all different ages, but I would say, and I'm not being sexist, but the women last longer out in the field. You think the big strong men are all, but when you're out there for months in a disaster, they're usually the first ones to collapse and leave, and the women are really the ones that can stay long term. So I don't know what that's about, maybe about having babies or being strong. So
what's the longest you've stayed in the field, like in one disaster?
Years. I'll go away and then come back years later. But I ended up meeting someone in the Haiti disaster, and fell in love, and it was very romantic. And he was in Miami, and I was in the camp, over in Haiti, and he would come back and forth. So I ended up getting married. So instead of going off and coming back,
you got married in the camp?
I have to balance it. What's that?
You got married in the camp?
No, we got married in Haiti, up a castle, mountain. Yeah. But I'm just saying, so now I have to change my life a little bit. I've got a dog and a husband, so I'll go out for 2 weeks or a week or 10 days, and I'll come back for a few days or a week, and then go back and forth, So I've just had to readjust a little bit, and now we're all readjusting with COVID. And you know what? With COVID, this is what I'm going to say, because I've been in infectious diseases around the world, helping in cholera and all sorts of things. And really we can't control the bigger picture right now of what's going on in the big world and that, but we have to bring it back down to us and just, control our breathing.
Right.
just control our breathing and our family. And I know so many different people are saying different things on TV, but as a medical person, I'm just saying wear your mask and look after your family. Like all people saying don't or do wear or don't, and all sorts of things. But it really does help. And just use your intelligence with your family. But just try to bring it down, back down to you and your family, and focus on those things, because we don't have control of the bigger picture yet.
Well,
So
okay.
just
Now,
yeah.
for the nonprofits leaders that are gonna hear this, like, they're asking how you get financial support and what's the best way to get people involved that they can support, all these big projects that you're doing.
I hate fundraising because I'm out in the field and I have to get home and fundraise and all that sort of stuff. It's taking me a long time to get to this point. I mean, still on Facebook, just because people trust me after so many years, and if they donate, they see the bicycles, they get the photo, the video, and they get everything, they get the receipt, they trust me. Like when I first used to put my fundraisers up on Facebook, you get $5 and $10 and that. But the person that gave me $5 and $10 20 years later is giving like 5,000 or 10,000 because they've really seen the development over the years. And only just recently, like I really suck at fundraising and we'll go to so much trouble and you push it for months and that, and then you get $500, which is good, but it's not, it's hard after all the effort you put in. So what was I going to say? Fundraising. Yeah. So it's just now, over the last few years, we've been getting sponsors, and that really helps because they'll give you your operation fee, and then you can raise some money for the disaster, whatever. So there are a lot of companies looking, corporate social responsibility, looking to sponsor your group, depending what you're into. A lot of people really want to help children. So if you're in a children's org, that's the easiest one to get help for. But it depends what it is, and really write to them and include them, and there is a way to do it. So we've been going that way a lot, just getting private companies.
You mentioned a little bit about COVID. What are you doing now with COVID? How can people maybe get involved? Tell a little bit about this. Because now things are coming back to Miami. It's like a lot of unknown.
We are the epicenter of the world right now in coronavirus, and it's because half wear masks and half don't, and it's become political, and it's not supposed to be political. So, coronavirus, we're in a very serious situation. We have over 30,000 volunteers around the world and in all the hospitals across nationwide. So I get the inside, oh yeah, we're so busy. In Florida, the ICUs are filling up, and they're full up in St. Petersburg, and now there's nursing homes that have like 60 people. They need to get to hospital, but there's no room, so not up in that area. So it's just getting a bit crazy. But everybody has to do their part. We're not being asked to go off to war and get killed. We're being asked to put on a little bit of cloth when we're out in public around people. And, back in the AIDS time, people were asked to wear condoms, and I guess they still argued about wearing those, but it's a little bit of cloth, and we're in a very serious situation right now. And there's, there are many more even than the numbers are showing. The CDC about 3 weeks came out with the figure that it's really times 10 of how many the figures are saying. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was scary because I was like 2 million. Then I'm thinking times, it's a lot of people. So people just wish that they would take it seriously. What we've been doing in this, well, most of our volunteers are working in the hospitals, and all the other volunteers have to stay at home with stay-at-home orders. So it's been tricky, and in the early days, I'd had to get in full PPE. I'd put the word out, does anyone have PPE or gloves and this or masks and that? So they would turn up at night, they'd go out in the car, and I'd either buy it or they would donate it. But then we had some big donors jump on, and so we've sent out about 500,000 N95 masks to nationwide, to all the hospitals. Like, for example, New York would be the hospitals and the nursing homes, and Rikers Island, the NYPD, and we did the whole LA Fire Department. We're doing all the fire departments here and hospitals. So we just keep it going and going. And then if you're in Miami, we have a Women in White program, and we go out in these white cars and white hazmat, and we go to the hospitals and we give out masks to people. So got lots of that stuff going on, but it's weird doing it all out of the garage and not really going off to a disaster. It was actually it's a little, nothing's blessing about the COVID, but I get to actually, instead of going away from my husband and dog for weeks, I get to actually do it all right here. So that's been one little blessing, but I know it's a horrible disaster.
And how can people get involved if they want to be part?
Thirdwavevolunteers.com. You can put it up. the thing is, it's hard for us to, all our missions have stopped in the Bahamas and Haiti and around the world because the planes can't take us there and it's not safe and everything. So a lot of the things we are doing online, so they can help online. So if they go to the website, they just sign up as a volunteer. And I'm usually the person that writes back and says, hey, what's your skills? How can you help us? And then if you're in Miami, you can actually come out and deliver masks with us. But we wear full hazmat and everything, so, you know, it's safe. And then we don't go into the hospitals, they come outside, you know, things like that. We have a lot of safety precautions. So, yeah, so.
Third wave volunteers with S or no S at the end?
With an S, yeah. And the number, third wave. Do you want to know what third wave means?
Sure, yes, please.
I know there's a lot of other names and books and things out there, but it is the first 2004 tsunami. The first wave destroyed the village, and there was a big train going through our village, so 3,000 people got up on top of the train. Second wave was a 60-foot wave that went 3 miles inland and destroyed and killed 300,000 people in 13 countries. Third wave is all the volunteers that came flooding in from around the world.
Oh, wow, that's so beautiful.
So it's the third wave, is this great tidal wave of volunteers coming to help. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Very, very special. So if you were to give, that's actually a beautiful question here. How do you train them?
Okay, we have CERT training in Miami, and I'm a trainer. It's called, like, because we do training. So there's CERT training that everybody in school and college and businesses should be all, and I'm pushing that for them to get more funding, because it's free. You learn for 3 days, full days. I've kind of made a revised version of that. It's a few hours, but you get the main drill of it all. So there's that. I send off packing lists and what to take, but I really take people raw, and I've really never had a problem. Had a few finicky New Yorkers or a few people that were, what's that diet, the keto diet, and I'm like, we got volunteer food. I'm sorry, but I try to.
I always say that when disasters come, the best comes out of us. We really try to get together and help out, and it's like,
yeah. And people find out these skills they never knew they had. So it's really great to watch people blossoming, and it's just been a great journey, and it's been hard because it's full time and haven't been paid, in all this time, but when you just give out, even you give out your last $10, magic happens in the universe, and it gives back, and you don't do it because of that, but just the magic life. You just trust it. You have to trust it and move forward. Whatever you believe in higher power or God or Buddha or whatever you believe in or don't believe in, it's just there is this magic and higher. Yeah.
I was listening to a video from Tony Robbins the other day. He was saying the secret of life is to share, and I was like, wow, somehow people that are they get it. It's okay.
It's complicated, but it's simple. And love is the key of it all, because love wins. And I've just seen that over and over in villages that have turned against us, and then years later they're like, we're so sorry, we believed all the gossip, and so it's about love. And we need more of that right now with all this hatred in this country. We just got to come together.
So what is your final message? If you were to, have a message for the moment that humanity is, what would be, from a person that has been in the field, in the front of all the disasters for the past 22 years, that know the in and outs really of what's going on in the dirty side of things? What is the beautiful message that you have for society?
Well, I said it in my TED talk, actually. You're standing on the shores of Lesbos in Greece, and you're rescuing the Syrian refugees, and there's a volunteer and a refugee just standing together, and they're just hugging each other, and sometimes it's 5-10 minutes long, and other minutes 30 seconds. But you just close your eyes and we're hugging, and it's no walls or discrimination, and it's just these two human beings. We're all the same and hugging, and I feel that it's the most beautiful and most extreme unconditional love I've ever felt, and it's available for everyone. It is. It's out there, and you really discover it. And I've had volunteers come back from trips, and they're like, "Oh, I can't fit in anymore. I'm agitated. I'm all this." I'm like, "That's great, because you're not a sheep anymore, just following and doing. You're enlightened, and you know what's out there, and you're eager to get back out again. So if you're feeling different after a trip, that's beautiful. So it's all about love."
Wow, amazing! 30 minutes of pure inspiration. Dr. Alison Thompson, thank you so much, not only for this interview, but most important for the beautiful, beautiful work that you do for humanity. You know, I think that if we get just a couple 100,000 people that do a tiny bit of the work that you do, the world will be a completely different place, right? And I think that, I hope that this interview not only gave people some inspiration about the work that you do and appreciation, but most important that they got the desire now to raise their hand, right? And say, you know what, I want to find a way to help out. And I think that if we're able to create that more, you know, I think hopefully we'll get out of this pandemic with people that are thinking more about adding value, of looking, you know, looking to their right, to their left, and saying, you know, how can I help? And if we're able to do that, I think we'll come out as a stronger society in general.
Amazing, amazing. And there is hope for humanity. I've seen the worst of the worst, but I've seen the best. And we wouldn't be here anymore if it was just all bad. So
For sure. Thank you so much. It was absolutely amazing. And hopefully we'll be doing more things together in the future.
all right.
That's enough. Bye.
Bye.